All is well, and all is in divine order. Just repeat after me. Today, could be, should be, will be the best day of my life. But I know I got some things to release and let go, because when I let go and when I release, it will be the best day of my life. You may be seated if you want to. We are living in some tough times. We're living in some turbulent times. We're living in some times that's filled with tension. And you can feel that tension right now. These tight times, difficult times, and they're so filled with stress. We see war breaking out all over the place. And we don't know what to do with all those feelings and emotions. I know I don't, do you? And it seems like we're powerless in this situation. We're just pawns in the game. And then we have unions on strike, workers trying to get better wages, better benefits. But we feel that stress from the strikes. And then we have our personal ambitions, desires, and goals. And we don't know the straight path forward sometimes. And it produces that stress, that tension. But what do we do with all these tight times? In the Bible, I like to read Philippians 1:6, and it just reads, I am convinced and confident of this very thing, that he who began a good thing and a good work in me will be sure to complete it on the day of Christ's return. Listen to that last part, the day of Christ's return. Who is the Christ? We are the Christ. So anybody who said Jesus is the Christ, you're not following our principles. The Christ lived in Jesus. They called him Jesus Christ, but that means I'm Glenn Christ. It's Leah Christ. Brett Christ. And so right now, I want you to say your name and say Christ. I'll say it like you got power, dominion, authority over all things. Wilma the Christ. Glenn the Christ. The Christ is you, and the Christ lives in you, and you are empowered by the Christ. And so this life is a faith walk. It's a faith journey. And we're supposed to be totally engaged in it with total confidence, enthusiasm, excitement, commitment that the Christ is one with us. Hand in hand, arm in arm, mind in mind, spirit in spirit. But then we wonder constantly, can I have the three things that we all want? Three things that we all want. Yeah, love is the big umbrella. So leave it out. We already know in unity we want love more than anything else. It's the overarching umbrella. We want peace, health, but we really want those things in this. Let me couch it for you. We want peace. Let's say peace. We want protection, and we want provision. Peace, protection, provision. Now you look at me like, never thought about it like that. Because if you have those three elements, you can create anything you want. Think about it. If I have peace of mind, I have confidence of mind. If I know beyond a shadow of a doubt I have protection, I feel safe to go in places I've never been. See, the problem with most of us, we haven't been somewhere, and so we're afraid to take the first step. And so we limit ourselves. How many times do we want to go somewhere and we think about it, we romanticize it, but we don't take the first step? And so it is protection and then the provision. I know this is something that's doable. And so in unity, the whole idea is not to think realistic. You know how people tell you, be realistic. Come on now. Be realistic. Brett, come on. Come on. That thing you want to manifest, come on. Be for real. But the whole idea is to be unrealistic. I'm a very unrealistic person. Everything in my life. It started with this vision and people saying, well, not too many people, have those kind of dreams. Not too many people are going to do that. Think about your background. Think about what you don't have. And so we limit ourselves. But what if we had assurance that there was provision? So one more time, let's say those things together. Protection, provision, provision. Protection and provision is where I want to live. Peace is important, but we're going to get there today. Can we get there today? Now, I've been dealing with some issues throughout my life. These revolving feelings and emotions. Maybe you relate. Maybe you can get on this Ferris wheel with me, this merry-go-round with me. Feelings of guilt, shame. Anybody can relate to those things? Guilt, shame, sprinkled with a little bit of bitterness. Anybody dealt with bitterness? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Because you hold on to stuff. And there's that bitterness. And we get real with ourselves. And you're going to get real with yourself today because I'm going to put you to work today. This is the day that I declare that we're going to work. Is that all right? And so this is not your typical service where you just listen. I'm going to want you to open up your heart, your mind, and your spirit today, okay? Can we do that for about 20 minutes of your life? Just open up and be real with yourself. All right? There's no grading of this. So Brett's not going to play principal and say you have to turn in all your assignments. And Reverend Wilma's the teacher, although she is a teacher, an excellent teacher. But today she's not going to be a teacher. Nobody's going to judge you. But I'm saying this is important. Peace, protection, provision, guilt, shame, and bitterness. It's what we want to deal with. Because a lot of us have these things floating around. And you feel like you're on a tightrope, balancing all of these emotions and feelings constantly. And so when somebody asks you, how you doing? And you say this thing, blessed and highly favored, filled with the Spirit, ready to go. As my friends say, boom shakalaka. But when you go through a training as a psychologist or a counselor, you're trained to listen to conversations, and you listen for when people jumped on a tightrope, and you listen for what they're dreaming about, what they're imagining, and what they're falling for because they're on this tightrope. What's that, Dr. Leslie? Is that some kind of label? There's some kind of DSM-3 label for this. When you feel like you're on a tightrope and you're balancing all of these emotions and feelings. But as trained therapists and psychologists, we listen for those moments when you got on a tightrope. Anybody ever experienced being on a tightrope and you taking these ginger steps, these little ginger steps through life? You don't want to go too fast. And so it's just a careful thing, but you don't get very far because you're on a tightrope. And that's what we do, isn't it? And I have the conversation, Reverend Glenn, I feel like I'm on a tightrope. I'm trying to balance all these different things, all these different responsibilities, all these different scenarios, all these different relationships, all these different issues, all these different problems, and I feel like I'm on a tightrope. And I'm about to fall off. And so a lot of the therapy training involves people having dreams of falling. Anybody had a dream when you felt like you were falling? All of us have. Where you're just in your dream and you feel yourself falling. And sometimes it startles you enough to wake you up out of a deep sleep. That's what we're dealing with this morning. Can you balance the diagnosis? Can you balance the divorce? Can you balance the defeats of life? Can you balance the David versus Goliath situations in your life? That's the question. So my question for you this morning, everyone here in this audience and those looking on Facebook Live, is, can you walk through the journey of life even on a tightrope? Can somebody say tightrope? Tightrope. Can everybody just do like this? I ain't gonna stop till everybody do it. Yeah, I look pretty crazy. Please understand this truth. We only know good because we've experienced bad. Do you understand that? You can't understand good and know the feeling of feeling good until you felt the feeling of feeling bad. You understand it? And so what we have is a situation. Can you say we have a situation? What we have here is a situation, a scenario that we need to look at. Because we're in a situation here and we're on this journey. Truth is, again, we only know good because we've experienced bad. And we have this fetish, this fixation, this fantasy with good. And that's what we seek. And anytime we get out of that mode, it's a problem. What's your fetish? Some people are smirking. You're going too deep into this. Even Reverend Wilman, like, I'll give you a moment, but what's your fetish? What's your fixation? What's your fantasy? What is it? Everyone has those things that our mind just gets focused on, and we want them because those are the things that will make us feel good. So what is your fetish? What is your fixation? What is your fantasy? Because if you've experienced those things, and for some reason you feel as though they've been taken away, it creates this void, this sense of something's gone wrong. And so I got a little exercise. They passed out little cards, right? Can you hold up the little cards they passed out? I want to do a little exercise. And this doesn't take long, because you already know what's on your mind, and what's always on your mind, and what's constantly on your mind. And so with that card, I want you to think about the fetish you have, the fixation you have, the fantasy that you have. And from those three elements, I want you to think about and write down something that you think was good and you lost it. And because you lost it, you're grieving the loss of it. Now let me challenge you a little bit further on this one. Let me clarify. Clarifying moment. Clarifying moment here. Because what you lost, what you crave, what you have this fixation, this fetish about, this fantasy about, it could be a person that you lost. It could be anything that you lost. It could be a scenario that you're used to having, like a job, and you lost. It could be a relationship that you lost. It could be someone who transitioned. But write it down. What is it? What is the thing that you grieve? It could be your body. A lot of times we say, let's go back down memory lane. And down that memory lane, we say things like, I used to be able to. Anybody ever said that before or heard somebody say that? I used to be able to. I remember having. I remember love so good that. Somebody back there having a moment too. But think about that. I remember when I used to be able to. I remember when I used to have. I remember a love so good that. Regina Bell used to have this song, Make It Like It Was. Yeah. Remember that song? Some of y'all remember that? Yeah. I wish I had a Daisy voice. Make it like it was. It was easier for me. You know you're able to make it like it was. But that song is an argument for what used to be. But we're called forward. You can't put life in reverse. This is not a car. And even if you are a car and you try to put it in reverse, at some point you got to go forward. Otherwise, you're going to hit something. So you got to keep going forward. And so make it like it was. That's the first step to knowing that I'm grieving. Make it like it was. Make him like he used to be when I first met him. He was so loving, so caring. On Sweetest Day, that was my sweetie. And my sweetie would never forget me on Sweetest Day. Thank you for the chocolate bars yesterday, baby. She remembered. Do you remember? But think about this. The thing that you're grieving is because you want things the way they were, the way they used to be. To go back in time and not move forward. Nothing changes in that scenario. And so when you're feeling that way, you're on that tightrope. You're trying to balance that romanticizing of the past was better than the present. And there's no way possible that the future will be better than the past was. But then God comes in with this notion, with an attitude. God comes in and say, I know the plans I have for you. I know the plans for you to have a future, for you to have joy, peace, prosperity. And there you are, grieving the past, and you won't move forward. You're on a tightrope. A tightrope. Can we say tightrope again? This reminds me of a little story of an entertainment promoter who was surfing YouTube. He saw this tightrope walker walking this tightrope. Walking the tightrope. Then the tightrope walker got to the end of it, and he turned around and grabbed the, what's that? What's this? What's this? Reverend Wilman said a joint. we would be conducting a 12-step program immediately after this for all smoking sensation. But he grabbed the cigarette, lit it, and started walking across this tightrope. This entertainment promoter right now, he's just intrigued. He's fascinated, Brett. He's like, wow. Made it across. Then he grabbed a wheelbarrow, put it on the tightrope, and he walked across this tightrope, pushing this wheelbarrow. Is that incredible or what? That's what the entertainment promoter said. And he says, this can't be real. It must be trick cameras or something. If this is real, I'm going to bring him to the United States and have him walk across Niagara Falls. And so they signed the contract. The tightrope walker signed away his liability. And he got there the day of. They put the string across Niagara Falls. They started. So he walked across Niagara Falls on this tightrope, across all this water. The water just howling, growling. Got to the end of it. The entertainment promoter just clapping. Incredible, incredible. He lit the cigarette, smoked it, took 2 puffs, say, do you believe? Entertainment promoter says, I believe. No, you don't. No, y'all don't believe either. Y'all don't believe. So he walks across, smoking a cigarette, Niagara Falls. Tons of water. Makes it across. Looks back at the entertainment promoter. And he's clapping. He said, I'm going to walk across. So he walks back across, smoking the cigarette. By this time, he had confidence. Gets to the entertainment promoter, he's just clapping. I'm intrigued. So the tightrope walker said, do you believe? He said, I believe. He said, do you believe? He said, I believe. He said, no. Do you really believe? He said, yes, I believe. He said, okay, get in the barrel because we're going across. And so, what do we extract from that story? It's cute, but think about it. You're on a tightrope, and all you hear is, don't look down. But you're still trying to balance all this. And there's something you should know about tightrope walking. The secret to it is that you have to be centered. And all the weight, the mass, must be put on the center, the focus. And so in this scenario of your life, and you walking on this tightrope, God is saying, just get in the wheelbarrow. We're co-creating this life. And when we co-create, we can do anything. Get in the wheelbarrow. So my question for you is, will you get in the wheelbarrow? Will you get in the wheelbarrow? Will you trust the Lord with all your heart, your might? This goes back to the question I asked you 2 weeks ago. Do you believe in God? Does anybody believe in God? Do you believe in God? There should be a route. I go to the Lions home games all the time, brother, as you know. Every time they score a touchdown, there's this song that plays. It's the touchdown song. Anybody know a touchdown song? Where's Steve at? Forward down the field. Yeah. And when the blue and rah, rah, rah. So when I say, do you believe in God, and you've been practicing the belief in God for all of your life, and all I get is, oh, yeah. It should be more like a Lions victory, a touchdown. Do you believe in God? Yes. So will you get in the wheelbarrow? Yes. There was a whole shift in emotions and feelings. Do you believe in God? Yes. Will you get in the wheelbarrow? Yes. Now, this is the question again. I go back to it one more time. Do you believe in God? Yes. Do you believe God? Yes. Do you believe in God? Yes. Do you believe God? Yes. If you believe God, you're getting the wheelbarrow, because you know we can go in tight places. We can go in dark places. We can go into poverty and come out prosperous. Right. We can go in situations where we've been diagnosed and be healed. Right. We can see relationships renewed. We can see the unlovable become loved. That's where we want to go today. Get in the barrel and co-create the life that you want. You're grieving something today. I want you to come to a workshop that we're working on grieving. Because the only way you're going to let go, and we say in unity what? Release and let go. But if you have this propensity to hold on to these feelings and emotions, it's more than just being angry. It's more than being mad. It's more than being bitter. It's what's holding you back. Things that you're holding on to won't allow you to have a smooth walk across the tightrope. You're holding too many things. All those things that you're holding inside of you that you need to release and let go, you won't. All those heavy feelings and emotions accumulated inside of you, that's just extra baggage. All I'm saying is really release and let go. Will you do that today? Can you consider that? If we can do that today, we'll be on track. I want you to say this affirmation with me. I believe. I believe. I believe that it's my time to rise, be renewed, to be resurrected, to be restored. I believe that I can walk the tightrope. I believe I can go into tight places. I believe that love is mine. I believe that joy is mine. I believe that peace is mine, and so it shall be mine for now and forever. This is the moment that I've been waiting for. For those things that you wrote down on those cards, just pass them over. Turn them over because you don't want anybody to know what it is. But just pass it. Pass it down. Pass it down. Pass it down. Pass it down. Just pass it down. Pass it down. It's time to pass it on. When we engage in these kind of Passover opportunities, we pass over everything that distorts our perspective. Everything that limits us. Funny thing about life is that there's so many things, so many moments where we doubt ourselves. And whatever you're doubting about yourself, people will rubber stamp it for you. Once you tell them, they'll say, well, Lee, you weren't supposed to do that. Why not? Why not? You're too old anyway. You come from poverty. Got the diagnosis. You're just a woman. You're just a kid. You don't have the kind of education you need. And what we're good at is being the choir for those kind of negative affirmations. Well, you know you're right. You know you're right. So when you argue for your limitations, the universe has to come into agreement with you. When the universe hears you espousing what you can do, that's when your greatness is revealed. And so this morning, I want us all to stand. And I want our ministers and prayer partners to come on up here. Is anybody dealing with any type of leg injury where you can't walk? It's a couple people. So you stay still. I want you to meet Reverend Wilma up there, and Ruth is coming too. I just want you to walk around and just whisper to them, I'm ready. And that's it. I'm ready to keep it moving. Let's go. You good? I'm ready. I am a divine expression of love. Hey. Okay, afterwards? Okay. Our affirmation of truth says, I am a divine expression of love. I am aware of the presence of spirit in all things, and that spirit is you. And that spirit lives in you, and you, and you.
You know how we roll.
Yes, sir. It's that spirit consciousness that provides us the moment of discernment. That discernment is inner guidance. Discernment is the power of choice that we all possess. Discernment is the recognition of love. Love for what? Starts with self-love. And the principles of forgiveness shall always guide us. I am aware of the presence of spirit within me. And with that ability to have discernment, I have inner peace. So I'm guided by a higher force than my human self. That power of choice that makes me know that I am loved and I'm lovable. And it makes me know that I can get on the tightrope, but I'm not alone. And when I put myself on that wheelbarrow, it's in total trust, understanding the principles. I'm not an acrobat, but I know principles. And the principle says, I am one with the Christ. Yes, I am the Christ. And so our responsibility, as it says in the Course in Miracles, is not to seek love. There's too many of us out here saying, I'm looking for love, I'm seeking love. Your task is not to seek love, but merely to seek all the barriers within yourself that have built up that make you repel love. That's our assignment this week, to look within ourselves and say, what things have I allowed to accumulate, to build up, that now prevent me from experiencing love and giving love? That little exercise is something I do at least once a week with my students, with my clients, and with myself. And the whole idea is to start addressing the grief that I have. I've seen everybody. You know, I've talked to all kind of people. But then I look at myself and say, what are you dealing with, boy? You know, what are you dealing with, boy? And now I understand that I have some unresolved issues, Reverend Wilma. Because I have those unresolved issues, I need some grief management. But I'm telling you to tell grief to get the grief out of here. Can we say that together? Get the grief out of here. And that's where we're at. And once we tell the grief to get the grief out of here, we begin to open ourselves up for new things. Let's pray a minute. Mother, Father, Spirit of God, we thank you for this opportunity. Through all the tight times and being on a tightrope, we trust you. We know that we're co-creating this life, and it's going to be fantastic. We have the enthusiasm, the excitement, and the expectancy for miracles to be manifested by us. Spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, relationships, careers, jobs, businesses will all be blessed. Because once we get the grief out of us, we see that we really are blessed and highly favored. And so it is. We're in the Zion community. I love you, and nothing you can do about it but accept it. Thanks for having me this morning, and God bless each and every one of you.